Good evening. You're watching the explosive weekend debate. My name is Toya Singh. Over the next few minutes, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the day's top story. This morning, Milind Deora, senior leader of the Congress, left the Congress in a move that was long in the making, but that he announced on a day when Rahul Gandhi, who you can see on the left side of your screens, set off on a cross-country yatra from the northeast, Bharat Jodo Path 2. Now, Deora, who was once a part of Gandhi's inner circle, has joined the Eknath Shinde-led faction of the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra itself. All of that was clear in the morning itself when these announcements were made. Tonight, we look to understand this move. Is the correct way to look at it through the prism of local Mumbai politics and the much coveted Mumbai South Lok Sabha seat that Deora once held that now belongs to the Sena? Was this a move for that? Or should one look at this through the prism of national politics as a possible trigger point for more Congress departures as the party embarks on difficult seat-sharing talks for the Lok Sabha elections in several states? Let's take a deeper dive on the show tonight.
विकासच्या मार्गावर जात आहे. मी विकास के मार्ग पे चल रहा हूं.
हिंदुत्व सम्राट बाळासाहेब ठाकरे यांचा मिलिंदजी देवरा साहेब आप आगे बढ़ो. हम तुम्हारे साथ हैं.
अफसोस की बात है कि आज की कांग्रेस और 1968 की कांग्रेस जब मेरे स्वर्गीय पिताजी ने इस पार्टी में शामिल हुआ और 2004 की कांग्रेस जब मैं इस पार्टी में शामिल हुआ, दोनों कांग्रेस में बहुत अंतर है.
ठीक है, कांग्रेस का सभी साथ छोड़ेंगे, धीरे धीरे सभी साथ छोड़ेंगे और कांग्रेस के अंदर खाली माँ बेटे ही अंत में रह जाएंगे और कुछ चापलूस लोग रह जाएंगे.
Okay, to take a deeper dive into this entire story, let's first take a look at the guests we have joining us tonight. Krishna Hegde is with us from the Shiv Sena Shinde faction. We have Shyam Prasad Mekha, a political analyst who's with us, and we also have Samrat Fadnis, an editor for Sakal Media News. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here. If I've pronounced any of your names incorrectly, do correct me when we come over to each of you. I'm actually going to come over to each of you first for your initial response. So I'm going to ask you, Pehla jawab, please keep your first question very, very succinct, your answer. Then we'll come to you for deeper answers. Okay, let's go over first to Krishna Hegde. Let me just repeat for you, he's a Shiv Sena leader of the Shinde faction. So he belongs to the faction that Milind Deora has now moved to. Mr. Hegde, you possibly knew that this was going to take place for a few days now, because our sources are telling us that this was a move that was going to take some time in the making. So the big question remains whether or not Milind Deora will get the Mumbai South seat. Of course, that is yet to be decided. But what can you tell us, and what was your reaction to all of today's events?
See, firstly, we welcome Milind Deora ji and the corporators and all the cadre from the Congress who have joined us today in presence of Honorable Chief Minister Eknath Shinde ji. But I must tell you that I know Milind Deora ji for the last 25 years. We've worked together in the Congress. We both have handled the Sunil Dutt election and the Priya Dutt election. And before that also, my father has worked with Murli Deora ji for 40 years.
Okay.
So I think, I would personally welcome him into the party. I don't think it is for the South Mumbai seat. I think we should look beyond that. Milind Deora ji has been a union minister. He has been the Mumbai Congress president, and he was also a member of parliament. So I would look at it more for Maharashtra and for the national scenario, where Milind Deora would be a good asset to the Shiv Sena, and he's a good urban face. I think he's a good young face for the Shiv Sena also. And he is a dynamic leader, and he is also progressive and development oriented. So we have all pluses when he comes into the party, and therefore I think the party will gain from his experience and also his youth, and also that he is a good face for the party in the coming years to come.
What does he bring the party, sir, that the party doesn't have right now?
See, the Shiv Sena is, a party which is 65 years old. So we have everything. We have young leaders in the party. But I think we do not look at it individually as what Milind Devra is bringing for the party. It is Milind Devra as a person who has worked for the people of Mumbai, Maharashtra, and India, whether he was a minister in the information technology department or otherwise. And I think he has a vast experience both in administrative skills, also in governance, and also he's a grassroots leader.
Okay.
So all three factors he brings to the table. And therefore, I think he's a good young face for the party, and I think he has a good future in the Shiv Sena.
Okay, sir, thank you. Let me just come over to each of the people joining us today for quick responses. Then we'll take a deeper dive. Samrat Fadnis, you are the editor of the Sakal Media News. I just want to restate that for our audiences. Samrat, tell our audiences, what was your reaction to everything as it took place today? Many of our reporters tell us that, frankly, this was months in the making. What was your reaction?
No, it was expected. So it is not a surprise or shock for the Congress in Maharashtra. So they were expecting Milind Devra for more than a year. He has expressed his desire to contest Lok Sabha, to take to go further, whatever his limited area was. And all of a sudden, since 2019, the politics in Maharashtra has changed. So the opposition against whom he had lost the contest, he was forced to sit with him. Arvind Sawant, against whom he had lost the contest. So now the problem before Milind Devra was to see his own future. Because I don't see his future in Congress. There he had already his father and he had got already much from the Congress. So now he has to look for his own career that was limited to the Congress. So it was inevitable and it was supposed to happen. That happened today. So his verbatim was, I'm going for development. So that narrative he will try to forcefully talk again and again, that he's not joined Shiva Sena Eknath Shinde just for the sake of Mumbai South. So that is his first, because Arvind Sawant is that the seat belongs to Shiva Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction, and they will definitely contest that again because Arvind Sawant is loyalist to the Uddhav Thackeray group. So Eknath Shinde wanted to face BJP, had already lost that election against Arvind Sawant twice. So lost that election when Jayanti-Ben Mehta had lost. Then the seat, if seat is with Shiva Sena Eknath Shinde faction, Shiva Sena Eknath Shinde, then definitely there was no other choice for Milind to join Eknath Shinde faction. So that was inevitable, not unexpected or not surprise.
Sir, but what's your opinion on that question of whether or not they'll actually give that seat to him? Do you think that's a guarantee? Do you think that's a sealed deal already? That's why he made the shift?
I don't see any other opportunity for him in the Eknath Shinde group, because they have their own setup. So they are contesting this election very seriously. They are facing wrath of Uddhav Thackeray faction, also NCP and Congress jointly attacking Eknath Shinde in Maharashtra. So other than this, Milind Devra doesn't have any other option or other choice, because I don't see any other option in his decision.
So, sir, you've really broken down what you see as the behind-the-scene reasons for this. I'm going to go over to our third panelist just to ask what his reaction to all of today's developments are. Then we'll come to each of you for deeper dives. Shyam Prasad Meka remains with us right now, and I just want to go over to him to understand more on this entire story. Mr. Meka, if I could ask you, there's this question that's been raised. As each of the other panelists have pointed out, this is actually a move that it seemed in the making for a while. Almost every media article that's been published about this over the last few hours has said that this was something that was months, if not even years in the making. When I say years in the making, not necessarily Devra moving to this faction of the Shiv Sena, but some shift of some kind taking place, that seemed like it was years in the making. So I do want to ask you, do you think the Congress knew that Devra had this need or this want, and they deliberately didn't do enough to keep him back with them over the last few years? How do you see this, sir?
Yeah, I think this is a new Congress. Congress is not bothered about this. I think Congress is saying basically good riddance. So if you don't have it in your if you don't have the stomach to stand up and fight the BJP, please go ahead, all the best. We don't care. Congress is not going to be blackmailed by these feudal elements anymore. Yes, I agree. Congress was guilty of getting itself blackmailed by these feudal elements for some years. I think finally Congress has realized it. The Congress under Mallikarjun Kharge and Rahul Gandhi, I think they're going to, Congress is going to say good riddance, all the best.
Okay, but sir, I do want to ask you, what does that actually mean? So, what I mean when I say that is, while I appreciate the sentiment, I do want to ask, sir, the reason this question tonight is so interesting is what the implications of this entire conversation could be in other states. So, states like West Bengal that could be trickier for the Congress to navigate. States obviously like Punjab to Delhi. I mean, the list is quite long. So, in each of these states, how is the Congress going to go about it? Because in some ways, today morning, what we saw play out could bode very, very negatively for the party if your leader is just going to leave and join another party when he doesn't get his way.
Yeah, I think that's what the significant change that you can see in Congress. Congress is not going to be swayed and it is not going to negotiate on its principles because of few leaders and few seats. That's what is very very clear.
Okay, sir, but
So-
what I'm asking is, while I appreciate that, I do want to understand what's the game plan then in states like West Bengal where you won't have the TMC back down, sir, and where the Congress's realistic chances may only be for 2 seats, you know, within the entire state gamut, sir. How is the Congress planning to do this?
See, most of the seat sharing talks are almost at the completion. We are still not at a position to come out and put them in public at the moment. But I think 90% of the seat sharing talks are fruitful, and all the parties are tackling it with a maturity that because the India Alliance knows what they are doing together, why they came together, right? They are clear. It's about setting the narrative at the national level. It's about understanding the issues.
Okay.
What are the issues the election is going to be fought, right? So that part is clear. Then the seat sharing and a seat here, a seat there, that's not a big deal. But currently, rather than the usual way of, okay, you take X number of seats, I'll take Y number of seats, rather than that, this time they are planning based on the ground game. The India Alliance is talking to its partners, each one of them, on each seat by seat basis.
Right. We know there's a.
They are finding a good
We know
candidate
there's a
and-
committee that is sir, going through with this. But let me ask you one last question, because I do want to go back to our other 2 panelists. Sir, I want to ask you, I understand how you framed it a little while earlier. You said that, look, the Congress party's motive is clear. They say if someone wants to leave, let them leave. We're not going to stop them. But sir, it's impossible to ignore the fact that he is just the latest in a long line of young leaders who have left the party. And when I say young, I obviously mean relatively young leaders. Leaders who have, for example, had their relationship with Rahul Gandhi himself go back decades. Sir, I just want to ask you, it's not a good look for the party, sir, just a few months before Lok Sabha elections are set to take place, that a leader of this stature is leaving, when it seems as if he was very open about how uncomfortable and unhappy he was over the last year. Aren't you at all afraid that this might create a thought within the party that if Deora can't save himself, then how can we?
Toya, see, one thing is that's the change between the old Congress and the new Congress. See, it's okay. These are powerful people. You look at the entire political scenario. Forget Congress. Every party, right? These are some 2,000 or 2,500 families who are ruling this country like feudals. They have got all the parties in their grip. That is how, including Congress, that is how the politics is being run. I am very happy that Congress is out of that. Congress is not fascinated by these feudals. Congress doesn't look itself that these feudals are the way to power. Thank you. Get off. We are fine. We will find new leaders. We will find our relation, our connection with the people of India, rather than these feudals who are posing themselves as the brokers between people and the power.
Okay.
Please.
Let me, sir, let me just 1 second go back to Krishna Hegde ji to understand more about how the Shiv Sena Shinde faction looks at all of these developments. Sir, some analysts have had to say that in the run-up to the elections, the BJP is the bigger power player between the alliance partners, and it's the BJP that's actually calling the shots. I'm not at all agreeing with them, sir. I'm just saying that this is a sentiment that some analysts have put out. That look, it's the BJP that takes the shots in this faction, and even this Mumbai South seat that you said that this was not about, even this seat was given with great dissatisfaction possibly to Deora behind the scenes. So what is the Shiv Sena Shinde faction's response to that on record?
See, firstly, my friend Samrat said that it is about the South Mumbai seat. I do not think it is about the South Mumbai seat. For Milind Deora, there are several opportunities in the Shiv Sena, which we will know in the days to come. But that only our Mukhya Neta, the Honorable CM Eknath Shinde ji can spell out. The political analyst sounded more like a Congress spokesperson. He said, we really don't care for people who leave the party. I think that's the attitude because of, if you keep this kind of attitude that we don't care about people leaving the party, then more and more people leave the party. Look at them who have left the party. From the beginning, it was Mamata Banerjee who left the party. Himanta Biswas Sharma, he left the party. He became the chief minister. Sushmita Dev, daughter of veteran congressman Santosh Mohan Dev, left the party. Then you have Jyotiraditya Scindia, whose father was also a veteran congressman. He left the party. Jyotiraditya Scindia himself being a minister. Then Jiten Prasada left the party. His father almost is contested for the president of the Congress party. And now the Deora family has left the party. And they've been in the Congress for 55 years. All of us together have been, myself, have been in the party for 40 years. And this is the attitude the Congress people have, that they don't care who's gone away. Instead of having this Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra, if Rahul Gandhi ji goes around the country and just, unites the congressmen and gives them Nyay, I think fewer people will leave the party. I think that's very important now for the Congress if they want to survive this. Otherwise, there's going to be an exodus soon.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, there are more people from the Congress who are willing to leave the party. It's not only Milind Deora ji. So I think, after the Mumbai Congress, sad demise of Sunil Dutt Sahab, Gurdas Kamath and Murli Deora ji, there has been a vacuum in the Mumbai Congress. These were national leaders in Mumbai. And today there is no such leader.
But sir, I do also want to ask you, I want to request you to answer the question, and then because I will go back to the political analyst to get his perspective on everything you've said, because your question was primarily to him. But sir, I do want to ask you here, if you could respond to the question I was asking you a little earlier, which is the impression around the Shiv Sena Shinde faction that's developed over the last few months, the impression around the power dynamic they have with the BJP, this argument that even after leaving, they haven't been able to get that cadre popularity beyond Thane. That hasn't happened for them. Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena still holds on to them in Mumbai, for example. So, do you think that counter-argument could be used to tell your party that, look, consolidate yourselves first before you point fingers at the Congress?
Well, see, I must tell you that out of 2,300 odd seats in the Gram Panchayat, the Uddhav Thackeray faction came last in Maharashtra and got only 114 seats. That means they are wiped out. But I would not say that a political party is wiped out. But let me give you the numbers. Out of 2,300, 2,400 seats, if you're going to win only 114 seats in Maharashtra, then I think you are in a very poor situation. Secondly, you said also about the BJP and our equation. We agree that the BJP is a bigger brother here, is the elder brother. They have more seats in the member of parliament as well as as MLAs in Maharashtra, and obviously they are going to get a bigger pie out of this. So we don't have any concern out of that. The Ajit Dada faction has also joined us. We are 50 MLAs. The Ajit Dada faction is 50 MLAs, and the BJP is around 103. So obviously we look at BJP as a bigger brother. Our main objective in 2024 is Narendra Modi ji as the Prime Minister of this country to take this country forward. Okay. And in 2024, we are again going to bounce back in Maharashtra. The BJP, Shiv Sena and the NCP will be back in power.
Okay.
And
sir, let me just go over to our third panelist. I didn't mean to cut you off. I do want to get a word from our last panelist. Samrat Phadnis is also with us. He's an editor, a member of Sakal Media News. Mr. Phadnis, can you tell me this question of whether or not today could trigger off a wave and the fact that we might have to wait to get a little closer to see that wave take place. Do you think that's a valid concern at all? Or do you think that this is a highly local problem? And because Deora was supposed to leave for so many months now, this is actually a problem that's just limited to Deora.
No, definitely it is not limited to Deora Zoya. The respected political analyst was calling two words. So first is feudal and second is blackmailing the party. I don't agree with those words because this Deora had built Mumbai Congress. So it was not easy period. It was a Sakha Patil period when he started his politics, and George Fernandes had led this constituency. So that constituency itself is a very significant constituency in Maharashtra. It is not just one single constituency. It has impactful leaders in the past. So feudal politics, dynasty politics, yes, I agree. Dynasty politics was there, but feudal, I don't agree. Second, Deora, especially Milind Deora, had never blackmailed the party. So he has his rights to defend his career. So I see that there is a gap in the communication between the party lines. So in last 4 years, 5 years, since 2019, many Congress leaders in Maharashtra shifted to BJP. So I don't see any other addition in the party. So when one leader is leaving the party, there is a second rank or another leadership should take a place of that leader. But that is not happening in Congress in Maharashtra. So that should be the worry of Congress especially in Maharashtra. But if we consider this as okay, another leader is leaving and we don't bother about it, then it's a dangerous sign for the party because they, in 2 months down the line, they are going to face Lok Sabha election, where they are already going to face trouble with the NCP as well as Shiva Sena Uddhav Thackeray in the seat sharing, because for over the 45 years, 50 years, Shiva Sena Uddhav Thackeray had contested against the Congress. So seat sharing will be the crucial, and on that backdrop, if Congress leader is leaving party, the apex body should worry of whether Milind Deora like person should allow to go.
All right, I'd like to thank all of our panelists. We have unfortunately run out of time. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the show to bring our audiences this context. Okay, right before we wrap up, we do want to bring you a slice of breaking news without which we can't leave you. It is the end of the day on Sunday. We want you to have this aspect too. We're taking you to the Maldives, where we're learning the first meeting of the India-Maldives high-level core group was held in Mali. Now, during the meeting, both sides held discussions on wide-ranging issues related to bilateral cooperation towards enhancing partnership. Remember, the big headline from there also was that Maldives has set a March 15 deadline for India to pull out troops. We'll bring you more context on all of these developments in just a second. But remember, the group held its first meeting this morning itself. Now, there isn't a very large number of troops in the Maldives at all, 88 Indian military personnel according to Indian government figures. But to bring us more context on all of these developments, let's go over to our colleague Abhishek to understand more. Abhishek, Maldivian President Mohamed Muizzi is widely believed to be pro-China. He formally requested India to withdraw its military personnel from his country right after taking oath as president of the country in November. So this isn't entirely at all a surprise. Let me just give that context to our audiences. But please come to us with more information, Abhishek.
Well, ever since he has proposed India that they should withdraw all its military presence and naval vessels or other assets that they have, that India has given for urgency or, in case of any urgency, medical urgency or for any cooperation, those things should be removed. And the request was also discussed during his talk with Prime Minister Modi in UAE on the sidelines of COP. In fact, some of the media outlets in Maldives has also reported that the Maldivian president has requested India to withdraw all its troops and entire contingent by 15th of March. In today's meeting that has been held in Male between senior Ministry of External Affairs officials from India who had gone there to have their meeting with their counterparts in Male, the issue was also discussed. While the Indian statement says that the agreement, the both sides agreed that how to mutually work on this removal. The Maldivian side clearly says that they have also stated their position and withdrawal is being considered.
Okay.
Also, in the recent statement, Maldivian president has said that he is going to double the number of Chinese tourists in Male in the next 2 years. And also the pharmaceutical imports, that is a lot of it is dependent on India, is also going to be shifted to other countries. So entirely anti-India and pro-China or other alternatives is something that Maldivian president is exploring right now.
Okay. Thank you, Abhishek, for bringing us that context. Okay, we wanted to leave you, our audiences, with that last slice of breaking news too. With that, we are drawing our entire show to a close. We hope you found our coverage of this entire story and the breaking news we brought you comprehensive. Thank you for watching and joining us this Sunday evening.